This segment of Live on Lakeside is sponsored by the Northeast Ohio Soil and Water Conservation Districts.
Welcome back to Live on Lakeside. Well, just like we need food for fuel for our bodies, plants need good soil for their food.
Yes, Bob Griesmer, who is a technician with the Geauga Soil and Water Conservation District, is here to show us how to check out our soil. Hey, Bob, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Good morning.
Why is testing soil a good idea?
Well, plants, like people, they need to be fed, and you have to have the proper nutrition for the plant to develop and grow and reach maturity the way it should. The average homeowner is going to really be concerned with three nutrients: nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. And what we're trying to accomplish is we'd like to provide the right nutrients in the right amount so the plant grows properly.
How do you know what's in your soil, what you're lacking, what you need?
Well, that's why we do a soil test. And a soil test basically tells us what is in the soil and how much is in the soil.
All right, now, if we find out that we need nutrients, how do we do this? I mean, is it simple and just replacing it with good soil around the bad soil? How easy of a process is this?
Well, what I did is I brought some. What you want to do is, when you're going to do a soil test, is you're going to have your test area that you're going to be looking for. And then what you're going to do is you're going to go out and probably collect anywhere from 12 to 15 samples of soil. And what you want to do when you're collecting those samples is collect them in kind of a random zigzag pattern so that you get a representative cross-section of the soils that you want to test for.
So, excuse me, but I mean, how do you know? I mean, is it just random, or do you find plants that may not be growing, and that's the more obvious area that you need to test the soil? So you're just saying, kind of do a random soil test in your yard?
Well, when you're testing, you want to have enough samples so that it represents the test area.
Right.
The other thing that's important is the depth of testing, because you want to collect the soil where the roots are growing. So if you have turf grass or a pasture, you might be collecting at a depth about 3-4 inches, but your fruits and vegetables, you might be 6 or 8 inches deep.
Now, you have this fancy looking thing. Kind of looks like a golf club, but it's not. So
fancy?
What is this thing? And you put the soil in a bag? Like, how does this work?
This is just a soil probe, and obviously what you do is you insert it into the soil, and it's just an example of what the soil would look like. But when we were talking a moment ago about your different samples, if you had 10 or 15, at some point you would put all those samples together, and then what you want to do is break them down or grind them up a little bit so that you have a composite sample. And then at that point you have a good representation of what you're going to do, and you only need about 1 cup that you send off to the soil testing laboratory.